Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern. That's the deadline for signing any franchise tag players to long-term deals. After Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, the franchise tag players for 2023, whether they've signed their tenders or not, they can only do one-year deals, period. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And the problem is, for Saquon Barkley, and this is the guy I'm going to be talking about here, he doesn't get a chance to use his leverage toward the goal he's trying to achieve. He wants a long-term deal. So his leverage is, I'll hold out of training camp. I'll hold out of the regular season. I'll miss games. You won't have me on the field. But by the time we get to that point, there's nothing the Giants can do to give him what he's trying to get. All they can do after Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern is offer Saquon Barkley more than the $10.1 million he's due to make under the franchise tag, or offer some other term, like we won't tag you next year. They can do whatever they want on a one-year deal. The rule applies only to duration of contract, and it can be more than the franchise tender. That's never happened. But there have been situations, I think, with Lance Briggs and Albert Haynesworth, where terms were added to make it harder to tag the person the following year. So this is bubbling up now because Saquon Barkley has to huff and puff, even though it's too early to blow anyone's house down. He's making a promise that he may or may not follow through on. It's hard to get the Giants' attention with that. Hey, Giants, if you don't give me the long-term deal I want by Monday at 4 o'clock Eastern, I'm not showing up for week 1 of the regular season. Like, it makes no sense. Maybe it's a rule that they need to revisit. It used to be, for franchise tag players, there was a moratorium on negotiating long-term contracts from the middle of April until the middle of July. And after the middle of July, then you could negotiate long-term contracts again. They flipped it at some point in the past 15 years to you can negotiate long-term contracts up until July 15, but after that, it's only a one-year deal. I don't know why that's the rule. Why is that the rule? It shouldn't be the rule. It should at least go up until week 1 that you can negotiate long-term deals, because it puts the player in a tough spot to really get anything in return for the leverage that he plans to exercise. Maybe that's why the league did it. They want the player to be in a position where he's got to take the best offer in the middle of July, because he knows that skipping games isn't going to help him get a better offer later. Now, as to the offer, look, the traditional calculation of the franchise tag amount would suggest fully guaranteed $10.1 million plus fully guaranteed 2024 franchise tag that pushes the 2-year total to $22.22 million. That's too low for Saquon Barkley. And the Giants recognize that. We reported yesterday that before Saquon Barkley was franchise tagged, the Giants offered him a deal with $26 million over the first 2 years, $13 million per year average. He wanted $16 million. They offered it before the franchise tag was applied, with an understanding, I'm told, that once the tag was applied, the offer is being removed from the table, because what they wanted to do was sign Barkley and then tag Daniel Jones. See, if you tag Daniel Jones, you get another year to see whether or not he can duplicate what he did in 2022 before you make the long-term commitment. But they weren't able to get Saquon Barkley done. They knew what he can do. He's proven. They wanted to get him signed long-term and go year to year, or just 1 year and then long-term deal with Daniel Jones. But when they didn't get Saquon done, they pivoted to Jones. They got his done, tagged Barkley, yanked the offer, and I don't know whether or not that offer is back on the table. And I don't know what Saquon currently wants. And apparently he got CAA involved at some point. He'd been represented by Rock Nation throughout this process, I think back in June. It's what I'm told as of just before we started taping this today, that CAA is now in the mix. But got to get the Giants back at the table. Got to get them to make an offer. At a minimum, it's got to be $22 million fully guaranteed over the first 2 years, or it's a bad faith offer. The question is, how much more than that can Barkley get? Could have had 26, I'm told, in March. Would the Giants put that 26 back on the table now? Think about negotiation. Once an offer has been put out there, even if you apply terms like if you don't take it by X date, it's going to be gone. Once it's there, if the negotiation continues, unless you're truly walking away and never going to try to negotiate with that person again, once you put that number on the table, it's very hard to take it away and never bring it back. That's the challenge for the Giants. And the challenge for Barkley is to get that 26 back on the table and then try to get some more on top of the 26. And I saw that Barkley tweeted a couple of cap emojis. That means that it's a lie, what we reported. Well, Saquon, tell us what the numbers are then. Because these numbers are not unreasonable. It's not unreasonable for the Giants to have offered $13 million per year. It's not unreasonable for Barkley to have wanted $16 million per year. That's what Christian McCaffrey gets. And that deal's a few years old. The salary cap has gone up since then. Barkley is one of the most effective running backs in the NFL. I'd want $16 million if I were him. And I could see the Giants offering $13 million. So if there's a lie, Saquon, it's not enough to just call someone a liar. You know the truth. Fill in the gap. Don't just say it's a lie. Tell us what the truth is. Well, why should I do that? Well, if you're going to say I'm lying and you know what the truth is, it's not up or down, white or black, yes or no. If I say yes and you say it's a lie, then I know the answer is no. I say 13 was offered, 16 was wanted. You say it's a lie. Tell me what you wanted. Tell me what they offered. I just think a lot of times guys are so sensitive about being perceived as greedy because the fans line up for the laundry. They line up for the oligarchs. And I understand that. And I've been one of the proponents of pushing back against this knee-jerk reaction that the players are bad for wanting as much as they can get. There's nothing wrong with wanting $16 million. I'm not criticizing him for wanting it. I'm saying he should. So those numbers aren't unreasonable. It'd be different if the number was $26 million that Barkley wanted. That would be something that would not pass the smell test. So 16 is reasonable, 13 is reasonable. And if we're lying, Saquon, tell us the truth. Tell us what the actual numbers are. The other thing, too, that happens in these negotiations, because remember when we reported that Daniel Jones wanted $45 million per year or more, and people were like, what the hell? Fake news, fake news. Yeah, it turns out he wanted $47 million per year. A lot of times the player doesn't know what the agent is doing in the negotiation. The player has given the agent, here's what I want. It's up to the agent to figure out how to get there. And some players, fully informed, fully invested, fully connected to the negotiation. They know exactly what's been offered and when. Other times players just sit back and wait for the final amount. They got other things to do. They don't want to get caught up in the back and forth, blow by blow, start high, move down. They start low, they move up. Just here's what I want. Get their best offer. This is what I want. The negotiation process is aimed at getting the best offer on the table. So there's a chance that Barkley may not have known that 16 was asked in an effort to get more than 13. Regardless, if you think we're lying, go on the record with what the real numbers are, and then we'll all know. I mean, I'm trusting sources that are in a position to know what was offered and what was requested. And if Saquon's got something specific to rebut that with, I'm all ears. It's not enough for me to just have someone say it's a lie when they know the truth and they choose to withhold it. So we'll see. Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern, July 17. That's the moment where either Barkley has a long-term deal or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, he can sign a one-year contract. The Giants can offer more than $10.1 million, or they can offer terms that would promise him they would not franchise tag him again next year. We'll see what happens. Josh Jacobs is in that mix as well. Evan Ingram. Anybody who was franchise tagged, whether they've accepted the tender or not, they have until Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern, to do a long-term deal. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.